We are live for this a special episode of the Electrek podcast. We're not on at our usual 4 p.m. on Friday. This is going to be a one-issue podcast. So we're not going to review all the news of the week. We're still going to have that later on in the week, so stay tuned for that. But I am Fran Lambert, your host as usual, and I'm joined by Seth Wintraub, publisher extraordinaire, whose idea it was to go live and talk about this because I think a lot of people don't really understand the magnitude of this, right?
Yeah, I think that's the key here. Also, I'm missing a powder day outside. It's snowing. So this is very special.
You know it's special when Seth is not on the slope with fresh powder. So yeah, okay. Let's do a quick while people are still coming in right now. I know we posted the article about the podcast, and I linked, of course, my article in there to get a little bit of a primer of the situation. But for those that are not aware of the situation, so everything is about Elon tweeting a single tweet last night, and then with a bunch of follow-up, and he went into damage control for a little bit. But the core of it is like a potential conflict of pretty clear conflict of interest, and even a potential breach of fiduciary duty to Tesla shareholders that he admitted to last night, basically. So we reported a bunch of times before about the potential conflict of interest with him starting this new startup XAI, especially within the context of him repeatedly saying over the last few years and even more in the last few days, really, that Tesla is very much an AI and robotics company. So why would you start an AI startup if you're already the CEO of an AI company, AI/robotic company? His words, not mine. So let me give you a little bit more context now about what he tweeted and why he tweeted it. So this whole conversation started because of a bunch of Tesla fans over the last few days pushing for Elon to get a new CEO compensation package. Okay, which personally, like, a lot of people see me as a critic of Elon Musk. And I think it's fair for him to get a CEO compensation package. His last one was the last tranche of his options, the stock option, were achieved a year and a half ago, like a while ago. Like, he didn't have a stock compensation plan for a while, for a good reason, because the last one is still in court right now. Even though it's completed, it's in court because some shareholders thought it was too excessive and they sued Tesla over it. So the decision is still in the hands of a judge right now, and Tesla is not gonna put a new one in place until they have that decision, which makes sense. But still, you had a bunch of Tesla fans, Elon Musk fans, like pushing for a new compensation package for Elon, which in itself, like, I know it's like a kind of a side point, but it's sort of weird. Even though I'm actually pro it, I think he should get a new compensation plan as CEO, if he stays CEO, that is. But I won't be campaigning for the richest man on the world to get a new compensation plan. Like, that's shouldn't be anyone's role. Like, if Elon wants a new compensation plan, he can reach out to the board and find it. Like, any person right now online, I got this girl online, Amy, on Twitter, that sent me like a whole history of her campaigning for Elon to get a compensation package. I'm like, all right, this is cool, but like, you're campaigning for the richest man in the world to get more money. Like, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. But Elon actually commented on this effort from Tesla fans, because I try to take the pulse of it a little bit on X, and most people seem to agree that it makes sense for Elon to get a new CEO compensation package. There's a big spectrum on what the package should be, because the last one was pretty crazy. But the consensus was also that Elon still owns 400 million shares in Tesla, worth about $100 billion. And that's pretty big incentive for the company to do well and keep working on the company. But then Elon responded to that, and that's where things got a little bit weird. So let's read the tweet directly. Okay, it's not even showing completely here, but we'll look at the tweet. I'm going to share this tab instead, and then we're going to dive into it. Elon says, for those that are only listening, I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having roughly 25% voting control. So the first phrase alone is kind of problematic here, because
Very problematic.
the word uncomfortable kind of it saves him for the first phrase, because you could still do the job and be uncomfortable with the job. So that he's kind of safe there, even though it's kind of weird for him saying, I'm uncomfortable doing my job unless you double my stake in the company, which is already worth $100 billion. So it would be like a 200, like you would need to give me $100 billion for me to be comfortable doing my job. Okay. Then he explained the stake as being enough to be influential, but not so much that I can't be overturned. Okay, whatever. Then he says, unless that is the case, so unless he gets 25% of the company, I would prefer to build products outside of Tesla. And the context here is what I just discussed. He's talking about AI products specifically, because he's concerned about the control over AI, the influence over AI. And he has AI startup, so he has the option to build new AI products outside of Tesla. He can build. So he's basically saying, unless I get 25% voting control, I would build product at XCI rather than Tesla. You don't seem to understand that Tesla is not one startup, but a dozen. Simply look at the delta between Tesla does and GM. Okay, that he said a bunch of time. And then he said, as for stock ownership itself being enough motivation, Fidelity and other own similar stakes to me, why don't they show up for work? That one is just plain stupid, even for Elon. Like, it's just, Elon is definitely the smartest stupid person in the world. Like, he's proving it times and times again, because Fidelity is only, there's millions of stakeholders in Fidelity. Like, yes, Fidelity owns a bunch of shares, but those shares are then owned by millions of different people through a bunch of different security products.
Yeah,
So,
I don't even know who that part of the tweet is for. Like, nobody's like, well, why doesn't Fidelity show up? I don't even know what that means.
yeah, that would mean like everyone that has like a account with Fidelity should like show up for like 50 minutes of work per week at Tesla. Like, it makes no sense. I don't know what he's talking about. So yeah, I and many other like criticized that tweet like heavily, and then he went into damage control and added a bunch of things, but the things are not like that relevant. Like, I will still quote his follow-up tweet for transparency, but I should know that the Tesla board is great. The reason for no new compensation plan is that we're still waiting for the decision in my Delaware compensation case. The trial for that was held in 2022, but the verdict has yet to be made. I put compensation plan in quote because, from my standpoint, this is primarily about ensuring the right amount of voting influence at Tesla. So this one here is one of the point that that's the only argument that the Elon super fans have been using, that he's not asking for more money, he's asking for more control. It's just super convenient that the only way for him to get more control is more money. Is that's
Right.
pretty convenient. Like, let's be honest here. Like, even like I'm not saying that I know what Elon is feeling. Maybe that's really his only true purpose. It's to get more control. But even then, it comes with the money. Like, there's no way around. Like, people are saying, oh, maybe a dual class voting shares, but a post IPO, that's pretty much impossible. So like, he's using that argument about, yeah, but if we could do that, like, that would be great, but you cannot do that. So all you can do is give him another $100 billion worth of Tesla share for him to get to 25% control. So if I have 25%, it means I am influential, but can be overridden if twice as many shareholders vote against me versus for me. Yeah, which is like, it gives you a lot of control at 25%. At 15% or lower, which is about where he's at right now, the for against ratio to override me makes a takeover by dubious interest too easy. Okay, like, maybe like 5-6 years ago, I would have said, yeah, like, sure about that. But now, like, I'm not saying it's impossible to do an hostile takeover of Tesla, but it is hard as hell. Like, you can probably count on one hand the entities in the world that can do that.
I don't even know. I
And it
mean,
wouldn't be an easy like thing for them to do either.
yeah, maybe the Saudis. That's about it.
Yeah, the Saudis, maybe Apple if they really wanted to, but they wouldn't do that. Like, so it's a weird way to frame the situation from Elon that makes him look like this is a very noble goal he's having rather than blackmailing Tesla for $100 billion. I would be fine with a dual class voting structure to achieve, but I'm told it's impossible to achieve post IPO. Hey, there's the point right there. So you just put that's at the end, like if you didn't give me any cash, just some voting shares, I would be happy with that. Just so happened that you cannot do that. You have to give me $100 billion. So this is literally what's happening here. So yeah, so that's the situation here. So there's a lot of ways to look at this, really, and I would love to have your opinion because you guys were live right now. You can comment in the comment section on YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you are. When I first read the tweet last night, I had to do a double take. The first tweet, when he says, when he says specifically, sorry, I put the wrong one. This doesn't show more on this. Is the second part here? Unless that is the case, I would prefer to build product outside of Tesla. So basically, the facts here are Elon says that Tesla is an AI robotics company. Elon started XAI, an AI startup. XAI recruited from Tesla, which we already reported on, is a conflict of interest issue as CEO of Tesla. But it's a pretty vague one. It's super difficult to pin down these things. But then Elon says that he would prefer to build AI products at XAI rather than Tesla, unless he gets 25% of control over Tesla shares. So this, to me, this is a clear admission that there's a conflict of interest here.
Yeah, I mean, as a Tesla shareholder, many people and you and I are both shareholders. I think you probably own a lot more than me, but it just, I mean, right off the top, he's already said, he's saying he wants another 12% of the company to be given to him as a compensation package. So right off the bat, everybody's share in Tesla, if this were to happen, would drop, some 15% or something. So whatever your value is right now, like take off 15%, just give it to Musk. That already is a big deal. But the bigger thing, I think that the more obvious thing is that he's saying, like, if you don't do this, I'm going to take all my AI talent and I'm going to move it to my own company, and I'm going to basically, like this whole FSD thing that we've been promising for years, that's not going to happen, because I'm going to take all the talent that was supposed to be working on that and move that over to my other company, which is, going to work on AI. And maybe at some point later in the future, I'll license that to my, Tesla. But in the meantime, Tesla, as the FSD thing becomes less and less likely, and all the, and Elon threatens to leave, and he's not putting his energy into Tesla products, that theoretically would really hurt the Tesla share price. So, he's kind of saying, look, if you don't give me this compensation package, this huge, like biggest compensation package in the history of man, I'm going to tank the Tesla stock price, drain it of AI talent, and you guys are screwed. So you kind of have to give me this plan. I mean, is that what I'm seeing and hearing?
I mean, it might be like it's a bit of an extrapolation for sure what you're doing right now, but technically, if what he's saying is true, which is like it's truly about fear that if they continue this effort at Tesla with AI, and AI is a super potentially dangerous, which is his claim here, and he's the only person that can safely bring it to life, then yes, like if that's really his concern, why would he not do that? Like that's what he's saying basically. So yeah, and the context is important here because the first compensation plan was crazy, like worth basically $90 billion if everything goes well. Everything went well. At the time that it was given in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, it was too, like, most people didn't believe that they were able to make it happen. That Tesla would grow enough to hit all the trenches for Elon's compensation plan, and he would get all those shares. Like, it was a super ambitious plan, and to his credit, he made it happen. Like, beautiful, beautiful for Tesla shareholders, beautiful for Elon, and everything. Now, so the fact that it was like the biggest CEO compensation plan of all time, like, it got plenty of press, of course, but it wasn't that big of a deal because a lot of people was like, yeah, it's theoretically the biggest CEO compensation plan of all time, but it's not going to be achievable. Now you do like a complete, like the same thing and give Elon $100 billion worth of Tesla shares, and it's actually possible. It's crazy, obviously, like it would be like insane for a company to do that, but it is possible. Like, Tesla could dilute its stock by $100 billion and give shares to Elon, and it would hurt the stock, like you explained earlier, but it would be feasible. um, the like we see like Abdi here in the comments says, are you saying Elon should work for free? No one is saying that. Like, literally no one is saying that. We started the show saying that it's perfectly fine for him to have a CEO compensation package. It's not fine for him to, well, you could argue about that. Like, asking for specifically like $100 billion, that's not, that's weird. Okay, but then asking for that and threatening that if you don't do that, well, I'm pretty uncomfortable pushing Tesla as an AI company, even though I'm saying it should be an AI company, and then saying that I would move AI products from, but people have been arguing, is he talking about existing products, is he talking about new one? It doesn't care. It doesn't matter if it's new products, existing products. I think it would be impossible for him to move existing Tesla products from Tesla to XAI. So I would assume it's mainly new products, new talent, especially. Jeez, the wind just went nuts here. Oh no, it's my power walls that just started. Sorry, I
Oh,
thought it was the wind. Maybe Elon has activated my power wall from Tesla to drown my voice. Um, no, but seriously. So where was I with that? Oh yeah. So if you're saying that, if you're threatening that, that's a breach of fiduciary duty, because it shows that you're not looking out for your shareholders, for the Tesla shareholders. So that's the main point here, is that Elon is admitting that his priority as CEO of Tesla is not shareholders, Tesla shareholders. It's, well, if you believe him, it's the security of it's controlling the potential danger of AI, and that's takes above Tesla shareholders, which people are always coming down on me on that. All right, Fred, you're all about the money then and everything. Like, it's not. You don't care about humanity and the AI. Like, I'm not even telling you whether I agree or not that AI is a potential danger. I'm saying, as a fact, that as CEO of Tesla, his job is to look out for Tesla shareholders, and he just admitted that's not his priority as CEO of Tesla. His priority is to get control over AI, or influence. He says, sorry, influence over AI. So right there, I think that proves that he is in breach of his fiduciary duty, that he has a conflict of interest as CEO of Tesla and as the man in control of XAI.
yeah. I mean, that's a big statement, but I don't know how you can arrive at any other conclusion there. Like he says, like, plain and simple, like, I don't want to build these at Tesla unless I can control 25% of the company. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm going to build it outside of Tesla. And, right there, it's like, okay, you crossed the line. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I know that basically Tesla's board is like a friends and family club. Um, I don't know how they can stand up to him ever. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to talk about like the institutional investors like Fidelity, which Elon mentioned. What about the other, big investors? I know, even on the, the Tesla Reddits, which are usually pretty pro Elon, a lot of the commenters are like, this is where I draw the line, or you know, this can't happen. So I'm seeing a much vaster swath of the Tesla community against this than I normally technically see. Like, hey, we're complaining about Model 3 performance getting a price drop. A lot of pretty much just Model 3 performance people were on our side on that one. But on this one, it feels like a large swath of the Tesla community is a little concerned about this.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, like I said, I didn't believe that's really what he said. Like I had to read the tweet several times to make sure, and then I actually like posted on my X account the way I was understanding the tweet, and then I asked, like, am I missing something? Is there a counter argument? Because I have plenty of Elon fans that follow me, and whatnot, and they normally, as soon as I say something against Tesla or Elon, they will tell me why I'm wrong, basically. And on this one, like, and sometimes I am wrong. I'm perfectly willing to admit that. But this time, like, I read all their tweets, and there was plenty of them that were against me on that and pro Elon. But they had no argument whatsoever pro Elon. The only argument they were using is like Abid said, do you want Elon to work for free? Like, that's not the point here. Or it's okay for him to ask to blackmail Tesla for that, and to have a conflict of interest because Elon is the smartest person possible to control AI. Okay, like you can believe that, it still doesn't make it not a conflict of interest. The issue here is really, and this is gonna be like a big one. Should Elon still be CEO of Tesla after that? Because he proved that the number one thing as CEO of Tesla he's not doing right now. He doesn't want to do, and he's admitting to that basically.
And we should
unless he gets 25%, which is craziness, like to start a negotiation like that, basically. You said, asked me several times on this show, like, do you think Elon should be removed as CEO? Even though, like, I'm seen as a critic of Elon Musk, I always defended him that I believe that he's better for Tesla than not for Tesla. Even though I've been open for like a transition of like him, like doing what he's been saying for years, really, that ultimately would like not to be CEO of Tesla, step down as product architect and let someone else manage a day-to-day Tesla. I would have welcomed that for a while, obviously, because especially since the Twitter acquisition, since I think Elon spends a lot less time at Tesla over the last 2 years. And we've confirmed that with you can track his jet, which obviously he doesn't like, but if you track his jet, he's landing it a lot less often at Tesla location than he used to. And but anyway, now if you ask me, I think that's the drop that overflows the glass. What's that saying? The last drop.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, the straw that broke the camel's back. Basically, like, I think he cannot say that, and I don't think you can say that as a CEO of a company. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think you can say that and remain CEO of the company. I'm not unreasonable though. Like if he actually, because he did seem to be like in pretty big damage control after that, but the damage control appeared to be more about the perception that it's all about the money. He's like, hey, I would be okay with super voting share. It's not about getting $100 billion and all that and everything. And that's not even my point about that. Whether you believe him on that or not, it's not. It doesn't disprove a conflict of interest or not. So if he comes back and he says, you know what, I can see now how saying that is problematic. It's kind of holding Tesla hostage. It's kind of blackmailing Tesla for money, which, if you remember, just a few weeks ago, he stood on stage and told people to go F themselves if they blackmail him for money, specifically advertisers on X. So if he comes out and says, yeah, I can see how what I said is problematic on that front. Look, I'm looking for a new compensation, a CEO compensation package. I would want one that gives me more control over Tesla AI, but I'm not gonna move any talent from Tesla to XAI. Not gonna. I'm gonna limit. At the very least, but the board should have done that the moment that they knew that Elon was working on an AI startup, obviously. But this should be a clear contract in Elon's CEO, a clear clause in Elon's CEO Tesla CEO contract about what they can and can do at XAI in relation to Tesla. Like XAI cannot compete in any of Tesla's AI product categories. XAI cannot recruit any talent from Tesla. Like all these things should be very obvious as a because of his. And even then, it would still be problematic, to be honest, because he has a view into Tesla's work, AI work, that is completely transparent as CEO, and then he can bring some of that whenever he wants to XCI. So it's still problematic, but at least there would be some parameters on top of that. But so like I'm being very generous here, like opening the door to something like that, because I think that probably the only sane outcome right now would be if the board was not completely in Elon's pockets. They would see that as a clear conflict of interest, a breach of fiduciary, and they would probably terminate Elon right away.
I agree. I have been, kind of beating that drum for a little bit, but I think this is the line that it's no longer questionable. I think you have to do something. The board should be doing something as we speak, and it doesn't seem like that's happening.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Like, replace this exact conversation we just had, replace the word Tesla by Apple and the word Elon by Tim, and everyone would be like perfectly okay with with Tim being having to step down as CEO, being fired or whatever. Like, it's because it's Elon, it's because it's Tesla, and I'm not taking away anything that Elon did at Tesla to make it that important of a company, accelerating the transition to electric vehicles, to clean energy, all the great ideas he had, all great, everything. You cannot be the CEO of a company and put your personal interests and or your personal belief in the danger of AI on top of your duty as a CEO to create shareholder value and everything. And he did that. Black on white.
I mean, I guess, the moment that he created XAI and, some engineers already started moving over, I feel like that should have been the line for the board to say, hey, look, you can't do this. You yourself have said publicly that Tesla is an AI and robotics company. If you're creating another company and you're moving people over from Tesla, a public company that there's a lot of shareholders in, to your private company that, you're making most of the money from, that's already a huge conflict of interest. It's already like, the SEC would theoretically see some issues with. It just seems like it's already a big problem to have two entities like that. But the fact that now he's saying publicly on the record, I'm not gonna help Tesla build AI stuff, even though I've said it's an AI company, because I don't have enough, of the leadership control, and I'm going to take it over here. I mean, like I was looking at the stock this morning. It's actually up last time I looked.
I don't think it means much. Like at this point, like it's especially like even us like saying this. Like I don't think right now. I don't know who has I don't think nothing is going to happen until there is an actual lawsuit filed, which I would be shocked if there's not lawyers working on this right now on behalf of some shareholders. I think they're gonna file a lawsuit against Elon over those comments. I think it's inevitable at this point. And you know what's funny about this is like what he said, what he tweeted last night wouldn't put him in trouble if he had never said that Tesla was an AI and robotics company. Because, if
Yeah,
you
I
look
mean,
at the financials,
right. It
Tesla
comes
is
from
very
making
much a
cars.
car company, an energy
Right.
company. So it's more about the fact that Elon said that it's an AI company. Not only he said that Tesla has no value if it doesn't deliver on AI and on full self-driving, which is based on the AI effort.
Right.
So
He said that
he,
during an interview with the Tesla owners Silicon Valley
he
group or
said
something
that
like that.
multiple times.
Right.
He said that multiple times. And as recently as 2 days ago, he tweeted that Tesla is an AI company. So that makes it undeniable that he's saying that he won't do his job at Tesla if he doesn't get 25% of control over the shares. But like in practicality, it is if he doesn't get $100 billion worth of share from Tesla, which is nuts.
Right. And then you mentioned your original post on the matter. He wouldn't be in this, situation with quotes if he hadn't dumped a lot of his Tesla shares to buy Twitter, which is like kind of doubly hilarious
Yeah.
or weird or frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, he sold tens of billions of dollars worth of Tesla share to waste it on Twitter, and that's a lot of his fans. Like they got me on that. They were like, "Oh, Fred, you show your bias there. You're saying that he wasted his money on Twitter." I'm not saying that. Elon is saying that. Elon
Right.
himself said that he grossly overpaid for Twitter. He tried to back out of the deal, realizing that he was overpaying for it, and then he was forced through the lawsuit to actually go ahead and go through with the $44 billion valuation in the acquisition. That forced him to sell extra tens of billions of dollars worth of Tesla shares, which he was wasted. Like if he would have paid like the real value of Twitter, he would have not wasted those Tesla shares. So yes, he wasted Tesla shares on this botched Twitter acquisition, and he would have closer to 20%. We wouldn't be talking about that because, like I said since the beginning, I'm not opposed to him getting a CEO compensation plan, even a very generous one in the billions of dollars over a few years if Tesla hits certain market cap. But if he would have still 20% of Tesla share at that point, it would be much more reasonable to get the extra 5% that this weird mark of 25% that he thinks gives him a lot of influence, whatnot. That would have been a lot more reasonable. Wouldn't be talking about any of that right now. But he screwed up with Twitter, and now it's kind of convenient. Like, all right, I lost tens of billions of dollars in this. Like, oh, you can still gain it back if X like does super well. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just right now this situation regarding Tesla, and conveniently he finds a way to frame things into I need to get that money, that those Tesla shares back for safety, for AI safety. So at the core, it's that's what he's saying. Give me those shares for AI safety. And if you don't, I have a solution. If you don't, I have a solution. I have this AI startup and I'm going to build those AI product at that startup instead of Tesla. That's what he is effectively saying. And that's plain wrong. I don't see how it's not. Anyway, let's take you guys' comment right now. Like, if you have any comments, you can put it in the comment section. We're gonna go through them, see if it can, if you guys can change your mind, or if you can find other other valuable opinion in this.
All right. Stendon is pretty vocal in here. As a shareholder, I'd be happy if they focus on expanding car production and actually fulfilling promises of FSD.
But
Yeah,
FSD is linked to AI. That's the thing.
right. Energy is also a relevant area to explore, but less buying another solar city and more building mega packs for factories.
That's
Yeah,
what Tesla is doing, and Tesla's gonna keep doing that with or without Elon. It's gonna keep building cars with or without Elon. It's gonna keep working on FSD with or without Elon. Maybe with the more conservative approach, especially when it comes to timelines and all that.
80 to 90% of Tesla doesn't belong to him. He can't just pick up all the work done in Tesla so far and planned in the future and move it to XAI or whatever other company he has on the side. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the point, is like starting up another company and then moving assets of Tesla into it is taking, basically stealing from the company. It's like problematic. So here's the this Tesla super, or the Elon superfan take. Are you saying
Yeah.
Elon should work for free? No, of course
I've never
not.
said that. I don't think anyone should work for free. But there's worse than that. I just tweeted because I've looked at all the responses to my original tweet that I think it was one of the first one that really like bring this concept of conflict of interest from that tweet forward, and there was almost 200 comments on over 200 comments on both of my posts together. And I looked at everything from the Elon fans as a strong argument against the fact that this is a conflict of interest. Didn't say anything, but I saw someone tweet out at me, this conclusion of that is a conflict of interest requires one to believe Tesla owns Elon Musk like a master to a slave. Sorry, I don't think it'll work this way. As much as we want it to be as shareholders, it just doesn't. First of all, I'm a Tesla shareholder. I don't want the CEO to be a slave to the company. Also, I don't see how you can compare the plight of slaves to the most well-compensated CEO of all time. Like I mean, I've read a lot on slaves. I've saw a bunch of movies on slave. I've never seen a slave receive a compensation plans worth tens of billions of dollars. Never happened.
Yeah, that's not a good look for whoever
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. It's Mr. Starman.
All right. So yeah, we're not saying Elon should work for free, obviously.
No one's saying that.
And then he could sell for a normal salary and bonus package, which that's what we're advocating for. If he doesn't want to develop Tesla AI business, which he says is a core part of Tesla value, then maybe he should step down.
That's the only reasonable way to look at this. I think so far, like I've not seen someone frame a reasonable argument that is not this.
Yep. Convince us otherwise.
And he says he can settle for a normal salary bonus package. The only problem with that is like he's standing here is like basically saying that if he does that, then he's fine, I guess, but he's not. Like at this point, because he said that, there would need to be some clear guidelines what's happening with XAI in relation to Tesla. I think
I mean, I don't know that XAI can exist in its current form with
That's
Tesla.
my concern. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also don't think it's a good idea for Tesla to buy XAI or whatever, merge. I mean, I guess that could be a solution, but what do they pay like to get all their old engineers back? I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I looked into it a little bit last night as I was looking into this. They did recruit from Tesla, but there's also a lot of other engineers and everything that work into it. It's just like part of the reason too why he created XAI rather than like go to X or go to Tesla to build this is for recruitment purposes, where you can give them stock options that are a lot more attractive as a small startup with a smaller valuation than at Tesla and X. So that's a good way to attract talent. Now you're right. It could be a solution where Tesla acquires X for shares in Tesla, and that gives shares to Elon. But like you cannot justify 12% of Tesla dilution to buy X, obviously XAI. That doesn't make any sense in terms of valuation. So you would have to be smarter than that. And then it would already make all those early employees very rich and remove maybe the incentive to work at Tesla or under Tesla as a XAI, as a new AI startup. So there's also problems with that. There might be like a potential solution in there, but I think there's also a lot of problems.
All right, here's another the Elon fan saying, why not just copy the previous compensation with a $5 trillion market cap? So, theoretically, Elon could make all that money back or all those shares back if Tesla reaches a $5 trillion market cap.
The problem with that is that he already said what he said.
Right.
He already said what he said. He already confirmed that he has a conflict of interest between XAI and Tesla. So even if like Abdi is basically saying Tesla should bend over and give Elon what Elon requested, which is definitely a solution, but it doesn't solve the conflict of interest problem with XAI that Elon admitted to. So no, I don't think that's a valid
Right.
solution.
Bridge burned. Don't all these existing AI products belong to Tesla? So that maybe that's a misconception that, XAI and Twitter are part of Tesla. That I don't know that a lot of people have that conception, but no, XAI is 100% outside of Tesla.
Yeah, but I mean, I think maybe David is saying that the current Tesla AI products belongs to Tesla. That's true. Like I don't think like they would move the Tesla bot project from Tesla to XAI. But Elon is saying that he would not, he wouldn't want to contribute to it. He would be uncomfortable working with it. Do you want a CEO uncomfortable working on your project because he believes that he doesn't have enough control over it, even though he's the damn CEO of the company? Like
Right.
it makes no sense. That's the problem here.
Right. And he's saying it's like that he, at 25% he would have enough control, even though
Influence.
influence, right? Uh, that for some reason that number is where the 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 amount of influence is the right amount of influence,
Yeah.
even though that's not a majority stake.
No.
So that's maybe something we should kind of delve into.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty convenient that he put this arbitrary number in there that would give him $100 more billion, but in effect, like would not give him more control because he's already CEO of the company. He
Right.
already has more influence than everyone on those projects. Like if Elon can shut down an AI project at Tesla if he wants, like like the board. The board is not doing anything right now when he admits a conflict of interest. They won't do anything if he says, this is too dangerous at Tesla. We're not going to do that. Like it's madness.
Yeah. All right, David Tolson, how can he remove all these developed products from Tesla? Well, I
He
mean,
can't.
he can't, and the fear is though that he would, his threat is that he would stop doing them at Tesla and start doing them at his own company.
Yeah.
If Elon goes, Tesla will be dead. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it could probably do fine without him, but
Yeah.
it's
And
certainly
wouldn't
more.
that be great? Like right now, like you can secure. I know maybe I'm too optimistic, but you secure like a very good CEO. Maybe you even promote from within. I think like someone like Drew Baglino would be great. Maybe you bring back JB Straubel. Maybe you do that. Maybe Tesla buys back Redwood Materials. JB comes in as CEO of Tesla. Oh, please, that would be awesome. Like I would double down on my shares if that happened. And
Same.
then what? And then they bring back a PR team. And then Elon is not the only mouthpiece at the company. We get more transparency. We get regular, transparent updates on vehicle programs, on FSD, on things like that. It's not just all vaporware and promises from Elon. Oh my God. Oh, my job would be so much easier. It would be crazy. I know I'm turning this about me right now, but how can I not?
All right, no, it doesn't. He's looking out for shareholders by building cars, AI, and other things are extras. Well, that's one point of view, but that's not Elon's point of view. Uh,
No.
he has said numerous times, as we said before, that Tesla is an AI and robotics company.
And Tesla has no value if they don't solve the AI problem of self-driving. That's Elon's words. It's not extra. There's no value in Tesla. Tesla is worth $0 without it. That's what he said.
Right. So here's another point of view. If one human can solve general AI, others can and will too. Giving 100 billion to Musk won't stop it. So that's another
That's a good
point.
point. Yeah. See, Elon is like this is Sam Altman that said that. Sam Altman, who worked closely with Elon, said, I'm going to paraphrase the quote here, but I'm going to be pretty close, I think, that Elon badly wants to save the world, but only if he's the one doing it. Um, so he has this savior complex, really, and he thinks that he's the only one that can bring AGI to life safely. That's what it does sound like, and and I held Elon's intelligence in extremely high regards. I think he's one of the biggest visionary of our time, if not the biggest. But I don't think he's proved that he's the only one that can do that safely. If anything, he's proved to be extremely volatile. Um, I don't think he's like the most rational person in the world, even though he's extremely smart and he can break things down to core principle and make great advancement based on his way of thinking. Those things doesn't necessarily translate to bringing like a digital life form safely to life. Like we don't, no one knows that. Like it's such a big thing. It's being a god, really. Like we're talking about who's going to be the best human to be a god. Like that's what we're saying. And like, oh, I think it's Elon. Like, what the hell do you think? What the hell do you know? Like,
Also, like, I think that he's changed a little bit since the pandemic. It seems like his values have shifted a little bit from, saving the planet from, you know, fossil fuels and such to kind of becoming a, you know, as you say, a god figure. Um, so
mhm.
it seems like I don't know if it's the Wall Street Journal article recently about his drug use is like clearly a lot of people around him came forward with like, hey, he's on all kinds of shit. Um,
Well, he did deny that, and I don't know if I
he
trust the Wall Street Journal more than I trust Elon. But to your point, though, I think this what you're describing actually does work with this current approach because like what you're describing, I think since the pandemic and since he bought Twitter, like his biggest concern is the woke mind virus, as he describes it, and it does make sense that if your biggest concern is the birth of AGI, that the woke mind virus, if you do believe that is like a real thing, is a concern because you would think that the AGI could also be infected or be built based on that mind virus. So I get the logic there. I'm not saying I agree with it. I understand the logic with that. Like it's consistent, at least in his madness.
Yeah. All right. Tesla is not an inverted pyramid with Elon on the bottom. Engineers, factories, chargers, assembly workers, and service centers are the core of Tesla.
Yes, that's that I
He can
agree with.
he can continue
Tesla
working
is
on.
over 150,000 employees at this point. I think it's a well-oiled machine to some degree. There's plenty of issues too, and we keep reporting on that because we're big Tesla haters, obviously. Um, I'm kidding, but yeah, I think Elon is not Tesla. Tesla is not Elon.
Right. He can continue working on the language of AI model at XAI. Grok claimed that Elon was a pedophile, so it seems to be based on the collective hive mind that is Twitter.
I've not seen that, but I actually use Grok a bit, and I don't think it's a bad language model. I'm not saying it's like GPT-4 level quite yet, but it's not that far off.
All right, Matthew Rideout, he won't go back. He has to double down. Yeah, that is another thing with him
Mm.
is he doesn't seem to backtrack. If he makes a mistake, he just runs right through it, I guess. He shouldn't be permanent CEO of any of his companies. He's so smart, he'd do that. If he's so smart, he'd do that, and I think he would do that. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I guess he means that he would leave the company, but I don't know if that he would do that. Do you know of any other examples of the CEO of a company telling the board leaders, give me a larger stake and control, or I won't perform my fiduciary responsibilities to our shareholders?
I think Elon might be a first. That might be a first, Kevin.
Oh, man. Tesla dropping is like a sale for retail investors. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Piano Yoga Wood says, I think we have a giglomaniac CEO in Elon. I guess it's a new term. Megalomaniac, giglomaniac. Is it possible that he found he had to change the business from less AI and robotics to evolve the company forward, but couldn't do it because of pushback? So now this showdown. Showdown.
That's not an unreasonable assumption. I'm sure that there's people at Tesla that like to remind Elon that, like, hey, like, day to day the company is only alive because we're selling cars, and we're building them for less than we are selling them. Like, that's the only reason that the business is alive. Like, yeah, I know that FSD would be great if it does happen. I know that Tesla bot would be a revolutionary product if it does work, but the core of the business is that. So I don't know how much of a pushback it is. Like, you know what? I don't. If I look down to my core, like, I don't think Elon really wants $100 billion more. I don't think it's going to change a thing in his life. I think he does want more control over Tesla. He said that before. I'm not. I have. I'm old enough to remember the take private fiasco of, like, what was that, 2017, 2018, whatever. Like, Elon has complained about the Tesla being a public company, not having enough control over it before. This is not new. So I can see Elon really just wanting more control over Tesla. Whether or not it's about AI safety, probably. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. It's about that too. Okay, he wants more safety. Um, I just, it just doesn't, I don't think it's justified breaking your fiduciary duty as CEO to the fiduciary duty to Tesla shareholders. I don't think that's a valuable one. Again, like other commenters said, like, AGI is going to happen whether Elon wants it or not, whether Elon controls it or not. This is like a maybe it's even like subconsciously, like, using that as an excuse to get control over Tesla. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, we should organize a buyout of his specific shares, allow him the freedom to work with quotation marks on all of his other outside interests: robots, hyperloops, accusing cave divers of pedophilia, tunnels, anti-Semitism, Twitter, fighting woke, whatever. 10 shares each, 2 million people. I'm in. Who's with me? It would be kind of nice to kind of be able to reach outside of that.
How about instead, like, the board finds some courage and realize that this is a breach of fiduciary duty, demote Elon from CEO, start a search for a new CEO, offers Elon a role as a chief product architect or something like that. Like, I would be perfectly fine with that, but he cannot be CEO and look out for Tesla shareholders' interest. And yeah, I mean, at the same time, like, yeah, chief product part-time, like a part-time role at chief product architect, like 2 days a week or something. Like, you made it clear, like, it's 2 days a week and you got to show up to work 2 days a week. Rest of the time you want to work with your 10 other businesses, that's fine, but a job is a job.
Right. All right. Tesla employees have been moving between Tesla and SpaceX forever.
Tesla
Well,
and SpaceX are not competitors.
right. That's enough. Lucas, I don't think whatever he said means FSD, which is Tesla AI effort, wouldn't be going ahead.
Talent
Yeah.
talent
Yeah.
moving between the FSD program and Tesla AI to XAI is a problem with the development of FSD, period.
Yeah. Dan Harold brings up a good point. Time for Elon to sell all of his Tesla and start his own sandbox. That's what he's asking for. That's a great point. Like, if he doesn't
Yeah.
like public companies, then don't take the money. And he keeps taking the money. Even his private uh, buyout of Twitter, he got a lot of other people involved. If he wants to do something himself, then don't take other money. He has full control.
Mhm.
It's a good point. Mikey G, it seems to me a reach for control. If he leaves Tesla, then a huge portion of his wealth will vanish, showing he doesn't care about money.
Well, what do you mean by if he leaves Tesla, like, Tesla's stock crashes? I'm not sure about that personally.
Yeah, I agree. I don't quite understand. Let's move on here. If they have X talented engineers, we'll divert them to work for Tesla or XAI. In Tesla, he only gets 15% benefit. In XAI, he gets 100%. that's kind of the big
Yeah,
idea
that's what he
there.
said too. Like,
Yeah, he said the quiet part.
yeah,
He's so bad at naming things. X.ai. He's a toddler.
no, it's not
Yeah.
a bad, not the worst name. It's better than Electrek.
All right.
Or
Is
could
it
have been
really
XEV. That would have been good.
is it really a surprise if he wants a somewhat full control of the company? I guess it's not a surprise that he wants full control of the company. It's kind of audacious though that he's kind of demanding it, or he's going to take the AI stuff with him. All right. While Tesla is busy monkeying around with Elon, the Chinese are rapidly improving their EV and AI products. Look at BYD. VinFast from Vietnam is coming fast and hard. Wouldn't necessarily put my money on VinFast, but I do think BYD and the Chinese companies are really coming fast.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. How could he be working for free? Okay. He has equity. He does well if the company does well. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
even then, I would still like agree to a new CEO compensation plan, a reasonable one, but a new one. Like it's still normal. Like CEOs, even though they have like big shares, I think like maybe like Steve Jobs, like there was a few years where he didn't take any compensation. I guess even when the company was doing well, like he has his shares of the company, but he still got a few like big compensation CEO plan.
all right. Kathy Wood, ARK investor head, is blowing up Elon's phone right now. And then some sort of monster
I
emoji
don't know
there.
if that's true. Like, I would really like to be a fly on the wall of the Tesla board right now. I know, like, there's not, they're not really like convening or whatever. Like, but I see what they say to each other at this
Uh,
point,
I'm
and
sure
just
there's some sort of communication
if
going
there
on right now.
is, like, I would want to know, like, cause I have not a strong opinion of Tesla's board over the years. Like, I think they could have reined in Elon Musk a long time ago and a few other things, and so I have very little hope about this right now. But it, if there was ever a moment to do something drastic, like that would be it, I think.
So here's something I don't think we've talked about. Isn't SpaceX looking to spin out Starlink, like IPO Starlink? Wouldn't that be a big source of money, possibly?
Yeah, the Elon has talked about it before, but he said I think he put like some kind of threshold, like when I think they need to be like cash flow positive or on Starlink, or maybe they already are or something like that. But I think there was like some kind of threshold, like when this happened, we're gonna consider an IPO. I mean, it's a
Okay,
great company to IPO because like it's pretty stable in terms of like you have your subscribers, and it's like any kind of broadband company really. Um, though the infrastructure is obviously a lot less stable, like it's satellites and in orbit rather than cables in the ground or on poles. but
right.
still, like it's a pretty like stable business normally. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you would cash out of that in an IPO or would just like let it grow. Like I don't think he needs money right now. Like again, I'm not. I'm willing to give Elon the benefit of the doubt and say that it's not about money.
Okay.
But I'm not saying it's right though.
Yeah, I mean it's about assets and control. I would say probably
Yeah.
control more than anything. Uh, but I kind of feel like it's about assets, which is a way of saying money. So maybe I disagree there. All right, so this is more of why is this not on a space? We use StreamYard, which broadcasts to Twitter using the old thing. So we have, it goes out to YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn usually, and even Instagram. So unfortunately, we can't do spaces. And if the feed is breaking, then that's probably a Twitter problem or an X problem. Rusco says the board has the right to restructure his compensation, and he has the right to either take it or leave it. I don't think anybody's arguing that they don't have the right to do that. I just think that his ask to double his, share value is a little bit unprecedented. Would be a fair way to say it.
At the core, I think our argument is that he admitted to a conflict of interest of interest within his ask for a bigger compensation package to get 25% control. So that's
Yeah, I
our
mean,
only like is our main point. Like everything else around it is like we have to assume is they are assumptions and all that. Whether it's about money, whether it's about control, whether it's really about a concern over AI safety, or like all of that. These are all like up for debate. But our main point is more like he admitted to a conflict of interest about AI development at Tesla versus this XAI startup within his ask for a bigger compensation plan that would give him 25% voting share control.
right. And there's like technically nothing wrong with asking for a huge compensation
Yeah.
plan. Like that's perfectly within anybody's rights, no matter how crazy it is. He could say,
It is
I want,
ballsy. $100 billion
yeah,
one, it is ballsy.
yeah, I want $100 billion. Hey, I want $100 billion. There's a lot of people who want $100 billion.
Seth, can I get $100 billion?
We'll see. We'll see. See how it goes this week. All right. Gandalf says this seems overblown, more of an emotional episode for Elon. Maybe cooler heads for now, judged by his actions that follow from here. I
It's
would,
too late.
yeah,
Once he admitted the conflict of interest, like Tesla's board right now should be like scrambling for a solution. Like, all right, we are we as the board's fiduciary duty towards the shareholders, they need to protect Tesla's AI asset right now, its AI talent, and Elon just send them a threat. I'm going after your AI talent and asset because I don't have control over it and I want control over it. He signaled that to the board right now.
yeah,
So
and I mean, frankly, it should when the day he announced that he was creating XAI, it should have
yeah,
been problematic, and they should have,
yeah,
at very least, set boundaries, which they didn't.
yeah.
You need a large investor to initiate some sort of hostile takeover. He's a brilliant man, but he's a lunatic, and it's hard to see how he's the future of this company. I don't know.
Yeah, we discussed that a little bit earlier, Kevin. Like the concern that there would be some kind of hostile takeover is a fair one, but the chances of happening are fairly small. Like I said, there's probably like 5 companies or entities in the world that would have the pockets to do that. Like Seth said, the Saudis maybe, but even like Elon was the one that almost gave the companies to the Saudis
Right.
just a few years ago. And then you have Apple, maybe that's
Maybe
about it.
Microsoft if he did
Yeah,
shares.
Microsoft could too if they really wanted to, but I mean they have their own AI effort now with OpenAI and all that. Like so,
Tesla could refuse to license their tech to AI, XAI. I don't know. That's not really how it works. Not buying anything from them. Let them stand on their own. I mean, XAI is working more with Twitter than they are with. Yeah, I don't think there's
yeah,
anything
I
going
mean,
on with
some people
Tesla
thought
besides.
one of the argument that I saw from the Tesla fan trying to defend Elon was that it included the fact that he thought that like, XAI was part of X because of Grok being distributed to X, but it's a separate company.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
would say OpenAI, sorry,
XAI.
XAI is way closer related to um, X than it is to Tesla. In fact, the only thing that XAI and Tesla have in common are engineers moving back and forth between them,
Yeah.
or mostly
But
just
no, but
one.
not back and forth from Tesla to XAI.
Right,
I haven't
right.
seen anyone from XAI going to Tesla yet. And not only that, Elon said that XAI could use Tesla's data um, and work that was involved in FSD, like to create like a real world, get real world data because Tesla's vehicles are in the real world all the time, and same thing for Tesla bots eventually.
What would happen to Optimus if Elon left?
I think the
Hard to say.
project would still be alive. Like I'm sure he was the biggest proponent of the project within Tesla, but now the project is advanced enough that I don't think Tesla would shut it down. Like they put Milan Kovac on it, who was one of the most the engineers, software engineers on Autopilot that contributed the most to Autopilot, and one of them, I should say. So now he's in charge of that. So I'm sure he would keep going.
All right. Elon's major talent is putting the projects together. Yeah, that's part of it, I guess. Elon implemented several important guiding principles to Tesla, but those are baked into the company now. Elon hasn't introduced any key principles lately. Tesla will be fine without Elon. I think there will be a volatile stock if Elon left. I think it would probably go up and down a lot. But I think in the long run, I agree. I think Tesla would remain good, especially, it depends on who was next. If it's a JB Straubel kind of character, I think it would do pretty well. If it's, some Pepsi CEO, I don't know if that would work out so well. Elon's major talent is selling Elon by claiming other people's work. Well,
I, I I don't know about that. Like, he's contributed a ton to Tesla. I'm gonna be the first to admit that.
yeah. Does anyone know what the holdup is in the compensation plan? If Elon achieved his goals, what's the holdup? Well,
We
it's
discussed
the
that
board.
earlier. It's the current. There was two big lawsuits that were filed in Delaware regarding Elon's CEO compensation plan and then the board compensation plan. The board they lost this. The board ended up settling for $735 million that they agreed to return from the board, including Elon, to Tesla for excessive compensation. And then a similar lawsuit, but specifically about Elon 2018 CEO compensation plan, which ran from 2018 to I think 2021, 2022. This one, Elon refused to settle. It went to trial, and the judge has yet, I think the trial was over a year ago at this point, and the judge has yet to give his judgment on it, or her judgment. I don't know.
Yeah, some housekeeping here. Odd that I can't see all the comments. We kind of aggregate all the comments from Facebook, YouTube, X, etc. So you'll only see in the
Yeah,
same
that's why we
platform.
bring them up on the screen, because if you're on YouTube, you don't see Facebook comments and vice versa.
Steadin says, I reiterate, he can get a salary and bonus program, then he can buy stocks like the rest of us. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody's saying he should not get a salary and bonus program. It's the magnitude he's asking for is a little nuts, and the way he asked for it shows a conflict of interest. Elon equals ego. This is a problematic mathematical equation. I would love it if Tesla would be disassociated from Musk. I'd be more comfortable buying one if that's the case. I'm noticing that more and more people are like, hey, can you recommend an EV that's not a Tesla? I just can't have a Elon mobile. He's the modern day Edison, for better or worse, I guess. Few outside the AI community understand the difficulty of the self-driving problem. It is a huge accomplishment keeping the project alive this long. I mean, a lot of that is I wouldn't say empty promises, but the keeping it alive means like saying, "Hey, it's coming at the end of the year."
Yeah.
I don't
What do you
know.
mean by keeping it alive? Like, it's
Everybody wants this. It's just,
yeah.
yeah. All right. He will
I
see
don't
his
get it.
downfall soon.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I think he should be removed as CEO of Tesla. But I don't wish him any harm. Whether I don't wish him the downfall or anything like that. If anything, I wish that if he gets removed from Tesla, like he brings other awesome products that I love, because Elon is behind some of my most beloved products. I have two power walls right there. Though you don't see them on the screen right now, but right there, I have a Model 3 in my garage. I have my Model S, which at my parents' garage right now. I used to have a Model X that I love that had over 600,000 miles on it. Like, there's great products from Elon. I just want to see more.
Tesla would not be Tesla without Elon. Honestly, even though Elon is not perfect, I'd choose Sam Altman. I think he's a little bit busy right now. But
Yeah.
retweeting
I think
Nazis
I
all
think
day.
like for Tesla, maybe like a Herbert Diaz or something like that would be nice. But I think ideally I would take I would take probably like a Drew Baglino, who's the SVP of engineering at Tesla right now, and he's been at Tesla for like 12 years or something like that, and he seems very rational, and when he gives his updates on the 4680 cells and all that, it's like it's what I would like want updates on, like on and all the programs at Tesla. Makes a ton of sense. If not, like JB, obviously, also I'm a huge fan of JB Straubel, and also why I would like JB to be CEO of Tesla is probably because it would also come with a deal with Redwood. So maybe a merge with Redwood where Tesla buys Redwood with shares, and that would make obviously JB very rich, even though he's already a billionaire, I would assume. But it would also give him like a lot of incentive at Tesla because he would own a lot of shares in Tesla, and I think that Redwood and Tesla would work great together.
Yeah, and he seems like a more level-headed personality as well.
Yes.
And also, I think like having just a more traditional structure with like a COO, you know,
Yeah.
like people involved, and Tesla has COO type people. They're just not called the COO.
And it's
So
just so happened, I think that like most of Redwood's PR is old Tesla PR, so we'd automatically get a PR team back.
yeah.
This is us being selfish because it would make our job a lot easier.
All right. That's why Tesla hasn't grown to its full potential over the last decade. I think this is ridiculous that you're claiming he's on drugs with literally zero proof. I mean, he admitted he's on. I mean, we saw him smoke weed. Not that I think that there's anything wrong with that. And he's admitted he was on ketamine for pharmaceutical reasons, and then
And that popular, like that trendy drug too for like weight loss, like that's also a serious drug too, like Ozempic or something like that. I don't remember,
yeah, I don't think that's I
but it's
don't
a
think anybody
drug.
would
Man.
have a
Drug is a
problem
drug.
with that. Drug's a drug. All right,
What
Fred,
have
what
I
have you
done?
done?
Who
Who
are
are you?
you?
Where
That's
am
such
I?
an existential question. Yeah, because I'm not a billionaire and co-founder of Tesla, I have no right to an opinion of whether or not Elon Musk has a conflict of interest within Tesla and XAI. That's if that's your point, TXS. I think you're not standing on sure footing with that point.
All right, one human cannot solve general AI. It is a massive effort. They changed the name Tesla Inc. from Tesla Motors.
Mhm.
They won't solve AI self-driving using visible light cameras as the only sensors. It will be reliably safe. There's a reason the go-to military sensors are radar, IR, etc. All right, we're getting into
Mm.
a lot of small comments here. Only for fun. Which car company, not Tesla, is making a humanoid robot? Honda and Asimo.
Isn't that from like 20 years ago, SMO?
Yeah. All right. Jack with zero sleep. I guess that's what. One of Elon's unspoken concern around takeovers is because he wants the AI to be safe from bad actors.
That's literally what he said. I don't know why you wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Jack Dorsey trying to be the jack of all trades didn't work, but I guess.
But I mean, no. Wow, let's give some credit to Jack here. I mean, Twitter had definitely its issues, but he did a lot of good things at Twitter. And what's his other company that's super
Square.
successful? Square is like massively successful. Uh, so yeah, let's
Yeah,
give
and they
let's
they have an interesting relationship, Jack and Elon. I know,
yeah.
like they obviously, Elon said a lot of stuff, but it doesn't seem like they're quite enemies.
Mm.
Musk has to do with Tesla, the better for the company. I think he's absolute poison at this point. I'm driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe right now as proof. My wife wouldn't buy a car after buying an S and Y from Tesla specifically because of his BS.
There's definitely a few people in the same camp as Ian here.
All right, so we have a lot of comments we're probably not going to get to. We could probably do this all
Yeah,
day.
I think that it just pretty much blew up. But oh, we got a 199 from Cycle Gamer. Yes, there we go.
All right, let's see. I don't even see where that is. Oh, okay. Thanks for the explanation. I opted for an EV6. Yes, there's definitely should have been a clause where he can't take from Tesla to help X. In my view, his biggest strength is making key strategic decisions that might not look good in the short term, but important in the long term, taking big risks. That's actually a pretty good point. Like, I think that's where Elon has seen a lot of success in his lifetime, but I don't know what that has to do with the current situation.
Yeah.
It depends if any new CEO would have the grand scope that Elon has had. If it's just a car company, I don't see it doing more than the next electric car in the future.
The vision is already there. The product roadmap is there. It's mostly about execution at this point, which I'm not saying Elon is not good at execution. Like aside from a few program like FSD, um, he's been pretty good in my opinion. But I completely reject this idea that like, oh, Tesla is doomed without Elon, or things like that. Like I just don't see how that happens. I cannot phantom that. Like, I don't see a scenario where that happen. I can see maybe some volatile stock movement if he steps down as CEO, if he gets fired, or whatever it is. But long term, I think it would probably be helpful. Really, it would be
All
less
right.
distraction at Tesla. It would make a lot more sense.
All right, so let's end with this. Like, a publicly admitted conflict of interest should be an immediate end of a CEO position. That's kind of the big takeaway for us, is that he crossed a line last night or yesterday, that it's not apparent that he can continue to be the CEO of Tesla. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of the big takeaway here, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot like from X or V Belarski just said that's quite the disgusting clickbait title on this space. What don't you think? Like I've seen a lot of that, a lot of like frustration from Elon fans, a lot of like combating like what they see as like us being disgusting, whatever. What I've yet to see from all this is a strong argument against the what otherwise proven a fact that Elon admitted to a clear conflict of interest at Tesla, which and a breach of his fiduciary duty as CEO, towards the creating shareholder value. So at the core, that's the issue here. I've yet to see. I asked Elon directly on Twitter about it. Can you explain how this is not a conflict of interest? He hasn't responded. So yeah, at this point in time, I have very little hope of this happening. But in a normal company, I think the board right now would be calling Elon, asking him to clarify what he just said. If he cannot explain or walk back his comment in any way, I think yes, the only outcome would be him to be fired as CEO. I think that's a clear breach of his contract, and then we move on from there. That's pretty crazy. Like like I said, like since you asked me like a bunch of times, do you think Tesla would be better off without Elon as CEO right now? And that most of the time, I'm like, I'm not ready to say that just yet. I think today I'm ready to say that. And I'm a Tesla shareholder. I've been for a long time, and I'm not selling my share just yet. On the contrary, right now I'm not selling my shares because I kind of have hope, even if it's a little, like I think it's probably like a 20% chance or something like that. I have hope that this actually comes out good on the other hand, where Tesla is stronger, um, with without Elon, or Elon stepping back as CEO, one or the other.
Yep, I kind of in the same boat. I think Tesla is still a incredibly valuable organization, even with or without Elon, with or without Tesla Optimus bots. I'm in agreement there. It'll be interesting to see what, if anything, the board does, if this just kind of gets swept under the rug, and more importantly, like what they they do about the compensation package. Like, are they going to give Elon another 10% of the company?
If they bend over on that, and they just like, the board doesn't do anything about his statement from last night, and they just like wait for whatever happens with the lawsuit, and then just like whatever happened, they end up giving him his ask. um that's probably where I would sell my shares then, because I would share my share or participate in whatever inevitable lawsuit comes out of this, because I think there's a strong case for a lawsuit here against Elon and against Tesla's board if the board doesn't act. I think they all have a fiduciary duty towards Tesla shareholders, and if they don't do anything about the CEO openly admitting to a conflict of interest, it is one of the biggest blunder as a board in a major company in a long time, in a long series of blunder in this crazy capitalistic world that we live in. All right. I think that's it for us. We just went an hour 20 for the special episode of the podcast. We're going to still be on Friday, as we always are, Friday at 4 p.m. And we most likely going to have an update on this situation. If hopefully we're going to have an update of the situation and something's going to move, because otherwise that would be very disappointing. We appreciate every single one of you for listening to this special episode. If you do like the show, please give us a like, a thumbs up. That helps the show a ton, and it's free to do. Only if you enjoy it. If you hate us, which is fine, you're allowed to hate us. I would hope that you spend your energy doing something else than hate, but I know it's a very polarizing issue. You can also subscribe, hit the notification button. That you can do even if you hate us. You can hate us and still appreciate our insight, or you want to use us as some kind of devil's advocate for your point. That would be actually a healthy thing if you have a pro Elon bias or whatever. I'm getting very psychological right now. Anyway. If you're listening to us on your podcast app, you can give us a 5-star review. That helps the show a ton. And we appreciate and we read every single one of you that does it. All right.